All right. We're live. Okay. Boy, that was spicy. Use that other one. Yeah. All right, y'all. WHGE 95.3 FM. Coming up, the Open Eye. Ready?
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education advocacy station. I'm the third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs. Yes, right here to get them started. Last week on the show, I ended with a little bit from a 13-year-old's analogy that raised some unquestionable truths in school. I didn't finish it, and I promised to give you the story today. Okay? All right. So let's, you know what, before we get right to it, let me do this right quick. All right. So don't nobody get confused.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
All right. Had to get that disclaimer out the way. Good morning, Brother Vaughn. Yes, as promised, Brother Vaughn had mentioned this to me after I talked to him when we were on the air. 13-year-old Jada Williams' essay compared Douglas' story about being kept from reading with her experience in a troubling school. A 13-year-old can see it clear. In a bold comparative analysis of the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, Jada Williams, a 13-year-old 8th grader at school number 3 in Rochester, New York, asserted that in her experience, today's education system is a modern-day version of slavery. According to the Frederick Douglass Foundation of New York, the school's teachers and administrators were so offended by Williams' essay that they began a campaign of harassment, kicking her out of class and trying to suspend her, that ultimately forced her parents to withdraw her from the school. Morning, Bessie. In her essay, which was written for a contest, Williams reflected on what Douglas heard his slave master, Mr. Auld, telling his wife after catching her teaching Douglas how to read. If you teach that N-word how to read, there will be no keeping him, Auld said. It will forever unfit him to be a slave. He would at once become unmanageable and of no value to his master. Williams wrote that overcrowded, poorly managed classrooms prevent real learning from happening and thus produces the same results as Mr. Auld's outright ban. She wrote that her white teachers, the vast majority of Rochester students are black and Hispanic, but very few teachers of color are in position of power to dictate what I can, cannot, and will learn, only desiring that I may get bored because of the inconsistency and the mismanagement of the classroom. It's a 13-year-old girl. Instead of truly teaching, most teachers simply pass out pamphlets and packets and then expect students to complete them independently, Williams wrote. But this approach fails, she concluded, because most of my peers cannot read and or comprehend the material that has been provided. As a result, she continued, not much has changed since the time of Frederick Douglass. Just different people, different era, and the same old discrimination still resides in the hearts of the white man. Williams called for her fellow students to start making these white teachers accountable for instructing you and challenge teachers to do their jobs. What merit is there, she asked, if teachers have knowledge and are not willing to share because of the color of my skin? According to the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle, Williams' parents transferred her to another school, then withdrew her altogether. The conservative Frederick Douglass Foundation gave Williams a special award, saying that her essay actually demonstrates that she understood the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. They have also reached out to the school for an explanation of the 13-year-old's treatment. While the issues Williams raises are controversial, even Secretary of Education Arne Duncan has acknowledged that closing the achievement gap requires more black educators in the classroom. But because the large majority of current teachers are white, they have a responsibility to figure out how to be effective with children of color. Excuse me. Given that only 19% of school number 3's 8th graders were proficient in language arts last year, and just 13% in math, well below the state average of 60%, it's clear that the school and its teachers need to change their approach. Attempting to silence Williams by branding her a troublemaker, ain't that what they always do? And driving her off campus isn't the answer. Now she is walking away from this controversy convinced that white teachers don't want to educate black students at all. You know, this one person said, as the parent of 2 black boys, I know firsthand that white teachers can excel at teaching black children. What set those outstanding teachers apart was their genuine desire to see my boys succeed and hard work to build relationships with them and with our family. What if Williams' English teacher had used her essay to turn a critical eye on her teaching practice and her expectations of black students? What if the school had used it as a jumping off point to start a student-centered dialogue about what everyone, teachers, students, and parents, must do to improve the struggling school? Until that happens in our schools, America's achievement gap will endure. So what they tried to do was or they actually did, drive this child out of school for having the audacity and the intellect to analyze the education that she and her fellow black students were receiving or not receiving. Is more the case. What's going on with our education? As we know, the worst thing in the world to white educators and to white supremacy is to have a well-educated black person. That's the worst thing in the world to know. Isn't that nuts? You know, we talk about and mention what we see white supremacists out here doing, the Karens and Kens and what have you, and the bigotry and racism that is so embedded in America, in the school system, in American society at large. Look, just to give you another example. Okay. Racist Penn law professor makes disturbing claim that the U.S. is better off with fewer Asians. A controversial law professor at the University of Pennsylvania is taking heat again for her racist comments. Again. Why is she still a professor, and a law professor at that? This time, Andy Wax was called out for being xenophobic in a recent interview with Glenn Laurie, a social science professor at Brown University, and was quick to clap back at her critics. But her defense only made things worse when she directly stated that because most Asian Americans support Democrats, the United States is better off with fewer Asians and less Asian immigration. The social media backlash was swift, with former President Donald Trump's niece, Mary Trump, even chiming in. For those of you that don't know, Mary Trump is a psychologist or a psychiatrist who correctly diagnosed her uncle, Orange Disaster, for the narcissistic, mentally ill fool that he is. Mary Trump said it helps explain the situation this country finds itself in, that an Ivy League university allows the morally and intellectually bankrupt racist Andy Wax teach the next generation of American lawyers. There should be consequences for this kind of hateful rhetoric, said Mary Trump. Penn Law Dean Theodore Rugger addressed the controversy in a statement on Monday, calling Wax's comments anti-intellectual and racist. Like all racist generalizations, Wax's recent comments inflict harm by perpetuating stereotypes and placing differential burdens on Asian students, faculty, and staff to carry the weight of this vitriol and bias. It all started with the December 20 episode of The Glenn Show, during which Wax discussed U.S. immigration, insisting that it's difficult to welcome people into Western societies if they do not share the same values, an ideal she also shared in a recent speech. Values? What the hell values does this racist wench have? Are you kidding me? She said it's just hard to assimilate those people or have confidence that our way of life will continue if we bring a lot of people in who are not familiar with it. These are not original ideals on the political right. Wax told Lowry. This might result in a shift in the racial profile of people who come in. Obviously, we have fewer people from Africa. We'll have fewer people some parts of Asia, and it'll be more white. Not that many white people want to come to the United States. Now, if she's saying this about Asians, who for the most part achieve the status of honorary whites, can you imagine what she's saying about black people? Are you kidding me? Jeez Louise. And you wonder why America, oh, we're the greatest nation. No. Look at our education system. On the elementary, middle school, and high school level, I think we're ranked 54th in the world or something like that. And then on the higher education level, it's mostly a scam if you can't afford the tuition fees. Because what happens is you get a student loan and you're in debt for the rest of your life unless you get a job, unless you get an education and a job that pays you an exorbitant amount of money. It's just amazing. Shoot. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye. Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist, soon to be joined by our intellectual surgeon, Nsoromma. I'm not finished with schools. I got this from a post from Tracy Johnson. Respect, Tracy. Good morning, Tracy. You're right on time. And the schools we go to are reflections of the society that created them. Nobody is going to give you the education you need to overthrow them. Nobody is going to teach you your true history, teach you your true heroes, if they know that knowledge will help set you free. Schools in America are interested in brainwashing people with Americanism, giving them a little bit of education and training them in skills needed to fill the positions the capitalist system requires. As long as we expect America's schools to educate us, we will remain ignorant. That's a quote from Asala Shakur. It's posted by Queen Tracy Johnson. Thank you, Tracy, for that. Which is going to bring me around. Wait a minute. Oh, I gotta get with this. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I hope I brought that. Oh, yes, I did. I was gonna save it, but no, I'm gonna do it now, or right after this. Okay. Now you've heard me quote Dr. King on integration in education before. But considering what today is, for those of you who don't know, shame on you. You're waiting for your day off Monday. Okay. Quote from Dr. King. I favor integration on buses and in all areas of public accommodation and travel. I am for equality. However, I think integration in our public schools is different. In that setting, you are dealing with one of the most important assets of an individual, the mind. White people view black people as inferior. A large percentage of them have a very low opinion of our race. People with such a low view of the black race cannot be given free rein and put in charge of the intellectual care and development of our boys and girls. It's from Dr. King. For those of you that are confused about Dr. King's stance, about Dr. King's militancy or revolutionary thought, I hope that helped clear it up for you, son. Okay? Today is January 15th, the 93rd anniversary of Dr. King's birth. And like I said, I know many of y'all are waiting for Monday so you can socialize your way through some social service. That BS. WHGE 95.3 FM. More on Dr. King later. WHGE 95.3, the education advocacy station. I hope you're getting an education today. Ring the bell, school's in. Yeah. You know, Dr. King believed in nonviolence as a tactic. Don't get it mixed. Yeah, he spoke about love and what have you, and dealing with your enemy, and this, that, and the other. But anybody that heard Dr. King speak knows that Dr. King was no fool. And he was not a weak or scared man, obviously. When they bombed his house, Dr. King had to be contained because he went and got his pistol. He wasn't for that. See what they have done. And remember, at the time of his death, Dr. King was the most polarizing, most hated black man in the country. They didn't love him until after he died. It was no longer a threat. See? Then after he died, they took parts of, cherry-picked parts of the I Have a Dream speech. As I recall, the original name of the I Have a Dream speech, the original title was Never Again. That sounds like some mealy mouth, weak stuff to you? I don't think so. Hey, like I said, it was a tactic. Cherry picked his I Have a Dream speech, content of your character, not the color of your skin and what have you. And see, it made it palatable, homogenized, easy for whites to accept and quote. And usually, when you hear, especially right-wingers, quote Dr. King, know that they're trying to hide their own bigotry, feelings of white supremacy. Now, and I know some people say, oh, well, you're just too hard, because y'all want to sing Kumbaya. I'm not a Kumbaya singer. This is a quote from Jennifer Soldner, who is an author and life coach. Morning, Cousin Sherry. I see you there. All right. Like I said, it's from Jennifer Soldner, author and life coach. She said, when you think about another as selfish or wrong, you are putting that negativity out there. You are saying that they are less than good, less than love. And when you believe that another human being can be less than love, you believe you too can be less than love, and so you will be. Jennifer Soldner, author and life coach. That's crap. You hear that? That's crap. Author and life coach. Oh my God. I hope this husband ain't author and life coaching nobody I know. Because that's crap. See, this fails to recognize that some people are a negative, toxic force and are effed up and don't deserve to be in your life. Even worse, this states that if you call people out for being effed up, you're effed up. That's her stance. Don't buy into that. Don't buy into that. Let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Because some people are effed up. And it is wise to recognize that and act accordingly. It's this kind of unrealistic BS that got our people in trouble. It's that BS. You want some life coaching? I got some life coaching for you. Here you go. If you hold a person's head under water long enough, they stop acting a damn fool. That's some life coaching for you. Don't put up with crap from people. It's not good for your spirit. Oh, some people are like, oh, well, that's just hard. That's nasty and this, that, and the other. No. I will kick you to the curb quick because I would rather adjust to your absence than adjust the boundaries of my self-respect. I'm Patrice Gibbs on WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. Heard my car alarm going off. Hold up, y'all. Take a look out the window. Something going on. Implosion doing it right here on WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah. Recently it came out how much was passed in the national budget for the defense budget. $798 billion a year. Okay? $798 billion a year. That breaks down to about 798, about $3 billion a month or something like that. I might be high there. I mean, I might be low there. But what it breaks down to is about $1 million a minute. In peacetime. Okay? There's no war. There's no imminent threat of war. $798 billion a year. But we can't feed the hungry. We got countries like China running commercials for people to donate to America to help feed the hungry in America. We can't house the homeless. $798 billion a year, $1 million a minute. And we can't feed the homeless? Come on, y'all, what are we doing? We can't provide health care for everyone? Are you nuts? $798 billion a year for defense. Like I said, it breaks down to a little over $1 million a minute. There's no reason anyone should be in debt for their education. We should be able to educate everybody free of charge. Education should not be for the few or the privileged. Remember a couple of years ago, they caught these rich people paying off universities and Ivy League schools to admit their dumbass children. Who is it? One of the dudes, I think is Trump's son-in-law. His father paid Harvard or Yale, whatever school he went to, $2 million to accept his son. How goddamn dumb is he? Jeez Louise. And we can't feed our people? Gee. Tell you what Dr. King said. A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual doom. When Dr. King said that in 1968, the year he was killed, or a year before he was killed, 1967. Well, here we are in 2022. And approaching spiritual doom, I think we're already there. Jeez Louise. Good morning, brother Nsoromma.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, sir.
What's good, homie? What's good? Chop, chop.
Chop, chop, brother.
Yes, indeed. What's happening, bro?
Yeah, buddy.
Yo, I'm off my 18th job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I made it.
I heard that.
It's good.
I heard that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, talking about all the money we spend on our defense budget.
Oh man, that's ridiculous.
Ain't it?
I couldn't hear you either coming in. I usually listen to coming in. My radio on my way, babe. I got the other car.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
Yo, what's good?
Oh, we hanging in there. We are hanging in there. As I said, like you and Smooth said, we're.
Oh, they ain't doing it. Yo, Cedric, David, Sherry, what's good? Yeah. Jordan, what's happening? Okay, yeah. Michelle, what's good with you? You know me.
WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
Yes,
And you
indeed.
just was listening to Implosion.
Yeah,
Y'all ain't doing it.
y'all ain't doing it.
Y'all ain't doing it.
Yeah, but we're doing it over here.
Most definitely.
Oh,
WHGE 95.3. You dig?
Yes, sir.
844-944.
3953.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
pay you for it. We a team.
Yes,
We
we a team.
Okay.
right here, on the open eye. Okay. You know, I had a couple of weeks ago,
But
had someone complaining about our show for talking about religion.
what?
Yes, indeed.
I mean, you have to really be a hater.
Yeah, you know.
They hate our children. And when
You know-
you can call in anytime and talk to us about anything, and we'll have your opinion too. So how you gonna hate somebody that's willing to have open arms to listen to what you got to say too, and
That's right.
and promote it? That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And this person was a minister.
Now,
yeah.
this is the thing. You know, our people always hold us down.
Mhm.
Now, was he black or was he white?
Yeah, he was black.
I see. I don't get it. They got us so infested with the not helping each other out and not pushing each other and not supporting each other. I mean,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
You know, and I understand where they're coming from because, you know, I have been critical
I mean,
of
that's
Christianity.
you. That's you though.
Yeah.
Everybody got their opinion. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, that's only one opinion, and that ain't even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That ain't a reason for you to call in and hate.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they did a little more than just calling and hate.
Wow.
They actually had to try to have us put off the air.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
see, now that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When they
yeah.
could have called and talked to either one of us,
Right.
and then found out what type of person that we are, and I mean.
And see, you know what it is.
That's
you
why
know,
he ain't got no members in this church. I bet you.
Hey, you know, and what it is, you know, is my criticism of Christianity. You know, but don't get me mixed. The importance of the black church to the African in America cannot be actually discounted.
Tell him to ask.
Historically.
Tell him to ask Dr. Umar about Christianity. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. The black church was freedom's incubator. We had some really significant and important contributors to our fight for freedom come from the black church. During slavery, many of the black churches were stations on the Underground Railroad. During Reconstruction and the Great Migration, the black church was the center of our community and helped the newly freed transition socially, educationally, and politically. The civil rights movement was planned and implemented in and from the black church. These are historical facts. With that being said, were our slave masters not Christians, what would we be? No, we would not be Muslim. Muslim is just another slave religion. I'm sorry for my brothers in Islam. Assalamu alaikum, peace unto you and all that. Okay? Christianity was indeed forced upon black people, as was Islam and Judaism. See, and this is a quote from the Bible. When I became a man, I put aside things of my youth. I paraphrase there. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are all slave religions. Furthermore, as Dr. Clark teaches us, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are all male chauvinist murder cults as practiced, and that's without exception. People conquer you, they declare war on your God and your God concept and give you a God concept that looks like and benefits them. When a people accept a God that has been assigned to them by another people, they can never be psychologically free.
Is that God?
No, that's people.
I mean, when people force their God on you, is that
God?
Right.
No, that's their concept of God. Now, why am I so critical of Christianity?
I mean, that particular religion is controlling America.
Well, let me tell you something. Christianity has been the major religion of the Western world for almost 2,000 years. Yet, the Western world has been the cause of all of the worst induced catastrophes in the world. World War I was started by Christians, in which more than 20 million people died. World War II was started by Christians, in which more than, 16 million people died. Over 1,000 in one day when Christians dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, Christians conducted what was called the Holy Inquisition, where millions of people who were declared heretics because the Christian church said so, were burned at the stake at the hands of the Roman Catholic Church, a practice that continued for over 600 years and didn't end until the end of the 19th century. That's the end of the 1800s. Okay? Now, Christians conducted the African slave trade, where as many as 600 million Africans died over a period of 400 plus years, and it is still going on. The most complete extinction, the almost complete extinction of the indigenous people of 3 continents, North America, South America, and Australia, by Christians. Christians are responsible for the polluted condition of the environment, which is causing millions of people worldwide to die prematurely. Christians created the human immune deficiency virus in a laboratory. It's known as AIDS. That was invented in a laboratory. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is a fact. Okay, this is a fact. With such a diabolical history, it would be the height of foolishness for African people to continue to adhere to and believe in the doctrine that is the major tool of the subjugation of our people used by global white supremacy. Amen.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't get it mixed. Christianity is actually not America's religion. White supremacy is America's religion. Don't get that mixed. That's what it is. You hear what I said earlier today? And yes, Dr. King was a Christian. And today is the 93rd birthday of Dr. 93rd. He would be 93 if he was living.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know some people, and I told you this a couple of weeks ago, stop pitting Martin against Malcolm because they had the same goal. And that was the empowerment and upliftment of our people.
I mean, that's what we're programmed to do, is put our soul warriors against each other. And it's a humanity thing. And they wasn't just talking about for us. It was for us, but they wasn't really talking about just us.
Right.
They was talking about everyone.
Yes,
and
indeed.
but they, being as though they were black, they were concentrating on our people because we are the ones that's getting the short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, indeed.
I mean, this is a humanity thing. When will, they stop killing humanity?
And recognize our humanity.
Right, and recognize that we are humans too. We're humans. We have kids.
Turn my phone a bit there.
Huh?
My phone. So I'm on the edge there. Yeah. Just bring me in a little bit. But yeah, like you said, when will they recognize humanity.
Yeah, man.
You know?
That's what America and the world has to do that, or it's gonna be this destruction and devastation
That's what it's gonna
we get
be.
ready to face. And then once that gets started, ain't nobody gonna stop. It's gonna spill into everybody, rich, poor, whatever. I mean,
well, you know what? Here's the thing. When the poor run out of food, they're gonna start eating the rich. And as long as these people, continue to hoard greedily all the resources and what have you, it's something, and I've heard a lot of people say, the problem is capitalism. No, the problem is global white supremacy. Because capitalism worked.
No, the problem is greed.
Yeah, greed.
It's greed, period.
Greed, yeah.
It's not a bunch of pretty names and all of that. Mm-hmm. It's greed, period.
And it's the greed of the global white supremacists
that is making it happen.
That's making it happen.
So
that's right.
I mean, the conversations we have, they're not funny.
No,
no,
we ain't joking.
Exactly, we're not joking. No, this is something that we both feel as black men and go through on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if it don't change, we are going to change it. It's just that simple. I mean, you got warriors such as me and Pat that's out there, and they're not having it either. Mm-hmm. So it's just about us being smart about our moves that we have to make in this society now.
That's what
I'm saying.
Now and then I get a little itch because that gambling thing is still in me, and I run down there and I might play the Powerball. Okay. But guess what? I'm not one for depending on luck.
Right.
Because you can't be lucky all the time, but you can be smart every day.
That's right.
That's right. Yes, indeed. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye.
Yeah. Yo, Tracy, what's happening? Too many black what?
What you say? Too many what?
Docile.
Too many black docile people? You're absolutely right.
That's right, yo.
Right.
It's crazy, man. And we don't look out for each other. I mean, yeah, we got to start doing that. You know what I'm saying? We'll look out for another nationality before we look out for our brothers and sisters. And that has to change. I mean, you have to have a better heart than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
For real.
Nsoromma said, we got to look out for our own. So we got to look out for the legacy of those that came before us.
I mean, our kids are the future, man.
Yes,
and they have no ideal and no plans and no type of future for the planning of our kids as the black kids. They want to erase us from the history of schools. And I mean, we got to look at what they're doing to our people.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
That's what. Now, I'll tell you something, because this is Dr. King's actual birthday. It's January 15th. It's his actual birthday.
Right. So when they make the holiday, they switch his birthday holiday to...
Yeah. It's the Monday around his birthday. Yeah. And then they had this thing about, do some social service in honor of Dr. King.
Be a slave in honor of Dr. King. Get that right here.
Get the hell out of here. And see, here's the thing, right? And a lot of our people don't want to hear this. But Adam Clayton Powell broke it down for you.
Okay.
All right. Look him up for those of you who don't know.
Adam Clayton Powell, you dig?
Junior.
Yes.
Martin does not belong to the decadent, aristocratic colonialists of the civil rights movement. Understand what he means by that. See, you had those that adhere to W.E.B. Du Bois's Talented 10th, and that 1/10 of us were worthy of leadership in the black community. Which is why we have foolishness like the Congressional Black Caucus, which is nothing. It's not in favor of uplifting our people. Don't get that mixed. The Congressional Black Caucus is nothing but a fundraiser to keep those black legislators in office. That's all it's about. It's about collecting corporate funds And you know what happens when you collect corporate funds? You're then a corporate slave. Don't get it mixed. Okay? Most of those people were actually afraid of Martin. When Martin first came to the forefront of leadership,
Right.
see, they actually planned to use Martin in Montgomery. This is what the so-called civil rights leadership planned in the South. You know, they thought, you know, they get Martin to lead this protest about the bus segregation down there. And once that was done, they kicked him to the curb.
And I didn't understand that. They wanted to go get on these people's buses, and we had our own buses. We had our own everything.
Yep.
And they wanted to not support each other and go get on the white people bus, I guess. What was in their head? I didn't understand that. What was the cause of that?
Yeah.
They wanted to. I don't get that. You gotta stop doing what's benefit to you and your family and community, and stop the flourishing of your community and go worry about getting on another bus to ride in the front or the back. I didn't get that.
Well, I think in Montgomery,
like they you know twist our history.
Oh yeah.
That couldn't have been the
well, in Montgomery, see, here's the thing that people get mixed up about the push for integration in the civil rights movement. And this is what the people of that time got mixed up, which is why the government understood and Dr. King understood, which is why Dr. King had to go. Because with Dr. King's next move, see, Dr. King's thing was, just like you said about education, we need to educate our own.
right.
Okay? Dr. King's thing was to open up society to us, but not for us to abandon our own institutions and businesses. You know?
That's what was done.
That's what was done.
They abandoned our own stuff
Yeah.
to try to become part of and lead. Close your own house.
Yeah.
You close your own house down and to go migrate. Come on, man. That's
Well, you know, this is like I said, in fear of Martin. By 1967, the Black Power movement had come to the forefront. White America, by that time, had its fill of civil progress. Many whites that had supported Dr. King felt that the work was done. It was finished. That's a crime. Support was already eroding when Dr. King took a stance against the Vietnam War. Martin Luther King Jr. was vehemently criticized by black people as well as whites. Black people criticized Dr. King for pointing out that on the front lines of the Vietnam War, black men were pushed to the front lines to be killed first. What happened? The death threats escalated on Dr. King. What do you want to say, Nsoromma?
Nah, I mean that Tuskegee Airmen. They pushed them out first too.
Yeah.
I mean, we are warriors. They know that. You see what I'm saying? So if they can push warriors out, okay, you want to be part of our team? Okay, well you go out there and go get them. You know what I'm saying? And they say that you'll stay back, let them go, let them go. And that's what they do. And then when they come back victorious, because that they like really flabbergasted because we don't just be fighting with our hands and fists. We fight spiritually. We have the Creator behind us for real in things that we do because we are connected like that. You know, so I mean, when they put that task up to us and they think it's ungettable, we already have it.
We already got it. And like you said, the Tuskegee Airmen were the best, bar none. Don't get it mixed. Now, at the beginning of 1968, Dr. King, like I said earlier, was considered the most divisive figure in America. No one seemed to want to accept or even notice his true militancy. It's not even talked about now. Initially dismissive of the Black Power movement, Dr. King took a step back and said, wait a minute. And then he acknowledged the Black Power movement. Not only did he acknowledge it, he embraced it, he came to understand it, he defined it, and he explained it like this. Black power in its broad and positive meaning is a call to black people to amass the political and economic strength to achieve their legitimate goals. No one can deny that the black man is in dire need of this kind of legitimate power. Black power is also a call for the pooling of black financial resources. You hear me, Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson said, if you're not on his level financially, he can't do business with you.
But it wasn't, I didn't take him when he was saying that bad. I took it as we've been so, as a people, so pressed down and kicked on and stumped on that, we can't see that the levels that we're on or we're supposed to be on. When I have a person, I go, yo, how much you want for that? And you don't know your worth. You have to know your worth to deal with me. And you understand? And that's all he said. And from when he said, okay, you have to be on this level or that level. Now, if I've been doing you bad so long, right? You never had over $10. So if I come up to you and I'm saying, yo, well, what is it that you want that I can get for your services and pay me for? What's your charge, buddy? You don't know that you're worth $2 billion.
Okay.
And you still going, I know I'm worth $10. Well, give me $20. That's the mentality that we have as a black people. I see it.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
So I'm saying when you looking at him saying that, you gotta look deeper than just him saying that. It's how you have to perceive yourself to get to him. Okay. Or to get to that level of you.
And I hear what you're saying, but that's not where Magic was.
I thought he was.
Nah, well, where Magic was saying that some of you are financially beneath him, therefore, I am not going to waste my time to uplift you.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
Because just finances don't make you a better person.
That's word.
Finances only make your situation better. You have to be a good person from the gate. Whether you get money or not. You understand? You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, if you already the a-hole, and you get $1 billion, you a super a-hole.
Right. And you know what? You hit that nail on the head, because Will Smith said basically what you said. All right? Money don't change you. It just exposed the a-hole that you already are.
It exposed you for really the person you are.
That's right. Look, after Dr. King exposed his philosophical and tactical intentions, okay, because he said in a speech, on our next campaign, we're coming for a check. After he exposed that, J. Edgar Hoover had a nefarious intention that took on an urgency. March 4th, 1968, the FBI issued a COINTELPRO memo that included the need to prevent the rise of a black messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement, as well as the civil rights movement. Okay? Malcolm X might have been that messiah, but he's a martyr of the movement today. Okay, King could be a real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrine, which didn't exist. Okay, Dr. King, I compare Dr. King in some respects to the mindset of Booker T. People thought Booker T was a Sambo and a coon. Well, what Booker T was one of the greatest con men in America, because what he did was he conned rich white people out of money to educate his own people. Okay? So Dr. King, who didn't really hold nothing back or bite his tongue, okay, had fooled the white liberal into thinking he was one of these kumbaya people, which he wasn't. Because what he actually did was embrace black nationalism. 1 month later, after that COINTELPRO came out in March 4th, 1968, Dr. King was assassinated. WHGE 95.3 FM. As usual, our show goes by fast. Next week, and I know Juan don't like it when I do this, but next week,
what's happening, homie?
I'm going to give you 10 disturbing statistics that illustrate the impact of systemic racism. I'm going to remember to do that. Just like I
Only
remember 10? I got it. 10 that's going to hit you upside the head. I got 50. But
So
I'm
why
going to
you
give you 10.
can't give me 5 of them now?
Give me 5. Okay, well,
Give me 5 of them
I'm going to give you
now.
5 of them now. All right. Disturbance and statistics that illustrate the impact of systemic racism. 1. 73.7% of white people are homeowners, compared to only 44% of black people.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. They don't want to give us loans. They don't want to give us anything that'll make us a better community.
And that's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So we have to build our own communities. And these black, rich actors, and basketball players, doctors, and lawyers need to get together, right, and invest in. Yes. That,
No, number 2.
okay.
2.5 times more black people per million are fatally shot by police than white people. We know that. We see it all the time.
Well, you know that the police derived from when they freed the slaves, and they
Before
said,
the slaves,
yeah,
the slave patrols.
the slave patrols. So when if you find anybody out there that's loitering or whatever, lock them up so we can. So the police is part of.
Right.
Okay. That's terrible, man.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Less than half of indigenous high school students have access to math and science courses. What the hell are they teaching them? Jeez Louise.
Nothing.
Right.
That pertains to making them a better individual. See, when we was in school, we had home economics, we had wood shop, we had welding shop, we had mechanics, we had cooking. Yo, we can do. Your mom ain't even had to come home.
How about that?
For real.
You know?
We did everything. They
Right.
they was training us to do everything.
Black students account for 18% of pre-kindergarten enrollment, but make up 48% of preschoolers with multiple out-of-school suspension. What the hell is a preschooler, a kindergarten student,
Doing suspended.
doing suspended? What are they doing so bad that you need to send their little butt home?
No, like you can't contain that. You containing 50-year-old people, but you can't contain this little boy, or this little girl that's 3 years old.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't
because
get that.
and I'll
I
tell
don't
you something.
understand that.
I'll tell you something. This is how crazy this mindset is. All right. Some of these schools are telling their little students, the problem is you haven't been saved.
Oh, so they trying to throw Christianity.
Oh, you're sinful. Okay. So this little kid felt as though he had to give his life to Jesus. What, the cookies ain't coming fast enough? God
Okay,
damn.
number 5.
Number 5.
Oh, okay.
Black women die 3 times more often than white women while giving birth.
Yeah, that's because they don't put the same time in on black people as they do as white people in the hospital. And you got doctors that'll tell you that.
That's right.
And that's crazy. But we continue to pay taxes. We continue to live and abide by all the rules that they have. But yet we are not human. 1/4 of a man and all of this stuff. But you want us to pay taxes and do all the things that, we are looked at as a dog. A dog don't pay taxes. A dog don't participate in all of this BS. So why should we? Is what I'm saying.
I've heard that.
We're doing that voluntarily.
Right.
Yo,
It's so crazy.
I'm not even a human to you. Why are you talking to me?
How about that?
That's
that mindset.
Right.
That's
that's
mindset.
crazy.
Yes, it is. Well, we have to close it out here because there's other people coming in. WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
And as I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treats you
as an option.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Thanks for joining us.
Yo, what's good? Hey, yo, does it have to do with healthcare, health issues with the black women? Well, you know, the reason why, John said, does it have to do with healthcare issues with the black woman?
Dude, does it have to do? Oh, big time.
Pat said big time because we didn't really go into it, but you know, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because they feel...
Dono, what's good? Ain't nothing, homie, yo. Uh-huh. Hey, yo, well, thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Nsoromma in the building. You know what it say. Y'all got glad to be in the building with you. So, yo, tune in next Saturday at the same time, 11 to 12 p.m. Hey, yo.
Hey. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in on WHGE. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Okay. Yeah, WHGE 95.3 FM. I hope you learned something. Be here next week to learn some more. Yeah, that's right. With your third eye optometrist and intellectual surgeon.
Yeah,
all right. All right, peace.
Hey, yo, Nsoromma.